Okay, only 10 more presents to wrap. You're almost at the finish line. But first... There, the last one. Enjoy a Coca-Cola for a pause that refreshes.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. So Netflix is basically Santa this year. 2 NFL games on Christmas Day, streaming live. At 1 p.m. Eastern, it's Cowboys, Commanders. Then at 4:30, you've got Lions, Vikings. Midwest football, playoff stakes, and probably some snow. Watching holiday football is a tradition the whole family can enjoy. Open some gifts, grab some food, settle in, and watch NFL Live on Netflix this Christmas Day.
Hi, I'm Daniel Lickies, and welcome to After Essay, where ideas take shape, thoughts find depth, and every conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. She's a CMO, founder, and co-managing partner of Aim High Studios, Glitter Sparkle, no other than Miss Ashley Bundis. Welcome, Miss Ashley on After Essay. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
I think you've got it all pretty much. I'm Ashley Bundis. I am an entrepreneur. I own 2 different companies. I work as a fractional CMO, and I'm delighted to be here to talk about entrepreneurship and business.
Yes, indeed. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Helping nonprofits, small business, and entrepreneurs thrive. So across nonprofits, small businesses, and startups, what is the single most common barrier that keeps them from moving from surviving to thriving?
It's a great question. I think really setting a strong foundation, really based in business, helps them create a path for success in which they would thrive. And what does that consist of? That is a whole slew of between marketing, a business plan, understanding how to utilize staff if they have staff, how to incorporate AI into their business in this day and age, to understanding, what your net profit should be, what your gross profit should be. If you can scale in upcoming years, what does that look like? And really setting mindful and realistic goals for the first 6 months to a year. That really is key to success.
Key to success. I like that, Miss Ashley. How do you help a nonprofit think more like a business about sustainability and a small business think more like a nonprofit about mission and community impact?
So actually, the community impact and the mission, those are the easy parts, Daniel. The hard part is really working like a business. A lot of nonprofits somehow, for some reason, kind of treat themselves like a mom and pop shop. And they forget that they're usually 1, 2, 3, maybe even 5 businesses in one. And so how I help nonprofits is really through strategic planning. That is the key. It can't be last minute. It's got to be intentional. It's got to be long-term. So you're thinking more than 6 months. You're thinking a year. That means setting up your budget, understanding your developmental needs, understanding how you're funding, how you're getting donors, how you're retaining your members, how you're retaining your donors, and what does your organization want people to know? How do you want them to feel? How do you want them to react to your organization? That should all be planned out way in advance so that you have time to execute, you have time to create a marketing plan, you just have time to develop. The problem is a lot of it is always last minute, and that is tough.
Very tough. So, operating with limited resources often creates a scarcity mindset. What is the first step to shifting that into abundance mindset that unlocks a new opportunities?
You know the phrase, you have to invest money to make money?
Yes, that's
That's really
awesome.
true. So when you're dealing in this world where their budgets are being cut, the funding is low, it's really hard to ask people for money and get money ongoing. You have to somehow figure out how to invest in your organization in really smart ways in order to eventually make even more money. That is key. Again, I think it's really about understanding what things you have to put into place, right, to make yourself feel stabilized. It is a certain, amount of funding that you're like, okay, if I can't get it from grants, can I get it from specific donors? If I can't get it from specific donors, can I get it from the government? Can I look for other organizations? Can I look for partners? I think a big thing nowadays with nonprofits is you really have this like singular mindset. And truth be told, nonprofits are in a community with other nonprofits. This is the time to connect. This is the time to partner. This is the time to join forces because nonprofits are stronger with others. That's not to say that you shouldn't be individualized and you shouldn't be different and special and all that kind of stuff. But this is not the time to say me, me, me. It is the time to say we.
Yes, we. I like that, Miss Ashley. When you first engage with an organization, what is the key diagnostic question you ask to quickly understand the greatest leverage point for growth?
When I engage with a client in an organization, there are like 5 things I ask in the very beginning. One is, what are your pain points? What are your challenges? What are your strengths? What are your successes? What do you want to be doing if money is no object? Give me 3 things that you think are the best parts of your organization and why. And the last question I usually ask is, dream big. 3 years down the road, if I was going to talk about your organization, what would I say?
What would I say? What, miss? Tell me.
You guys tell me your organization. I think that's a really good question. I mean, Daniel, we're living in a time right now where what you say, what you do, how you act as an organization is everything, right? So
Yes.
if you are, a nonprofit trying to help canines, right?
Mm,
What are you trying to do for those canines? And what does it look like year 1? What does it look like year 2? And what does it look like year 3? If you're trying to help teens in mental health, which is really important nowadays, what
yes.
kind of business do you want to be in? To just help teens in mental health is great. I'm usually hired to help really dig down to say, what do you want to do in particular to help those teens? Is it creating services? Is it creating funding? Is it to do certain types of mental health disorders that you really want to help fund or help or provide support for? Are you helping the parents? Are you helping the teenagers? Are you helping both? Where are you working with insurance for that? How do you want people to talk about it in the sense of awareness of that movement? Those are just typical questions that I would ask. And that goes back to your original question. How do you set yourself up for success? When you're thinking of your nonprofit, right now you have to really be specific. Tell me your specific demographic that you're going after. What is your specific cause? Where does your passion lie? And what does that look like? What does that feel like? What does that sound like? That is really important as people want to thrive in their organizations. You have to think of it in a 360-degree point of view. You cannot go in it to say, like, I have my blinders on and this is what I'm kind of thinking. No, you have to be exact. You can always build, you can always expand. The toughest thing about starting a nonprofit or being successful as a nonprofit is to understand what your special sauce is and how you're getting the word out about it.
The one-page strategic plan, Miss Ashley, is it possible to distill a thriving strategy onto a single page? What are the non-negotiable elements that must be on it?
I don't know, Daniel. What do you think about that one? I mean, what are non-negotiables? One would probably be funding. How am I going to sustain my business? Right.
Yes,
So,
cash
right.
flow.
That's a big one, right? So what am I trying to earn? What am I trying to gain? What am I trying to support? So in the sense of, you need a general operational budget, and you need to understand what that looks like, not only in year one, but year two and year three, right? It
Yes.
takes time to build a business. The other thing is, I mean, can you do it in one page?
No.
Sure, but that's like, but that's like, to me, that's a summary. That's not really your plan. So can you create a strategic plan in one page? Sure, I can summarize it. But if your strategic plan is literally a one pager, I would question that, because what you're missing then is, it's great to have the highlights, but then how are you executing it? What is your project management system in order to make that happen? How are you getting from point A to point B to point C? What is really interesting, and Daniel, I don't only serve nonprofits, right? I serve all businesses from all different parts of our business life, mostly professional services as well. And what I tell entrepreneurs all the time, because entrepreneurs think big, right? They've got
Yes.
big eyes, right, Daniel? Like,
Sure.
this is my business and I love it, and this is what I'm gonna do. Awesome. I am game. I am like your biggest cheerleader. I'm also like the person who's going to bring you back down to earth and say, how are you going to make that happen? Tell me, how much are you spending on your marketing? How much are you spending on your accounting? How are you managing the business? Do you need staff? Do you not need staff? If you do, how many people? How are you affording their salaries? These are things that you have to think about. And a big thing with entrepreneurs is very much of this, I can do it all by myself.
Yes.
That is not
No.
true.
Yes.
Right?
That's not true. You need someone.
Yeah, you need someone, you need technology, you need people, you need a support system. I think a big thing is being part of networks with other entrepreneurs, so you can hear what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong, what kind of systems they're using, who they have contacts with that can help them. Everyone from a bookkeeper to an accountant to a marketer to a graphic designer to a grant writer. I mean, you need like a whole pool of support. It doesn't just happen overnight. And I'm also going to say this, like, Daniel, I mean, you work your butt off, right?
Yes.
If you're going to be in the entrepreneur business, if you're going to be in the nonprofit business, even if you're going to be in the professional services business, you gotta be willing to work hard.
Yes.
You gotta
work hard.
You gotta work it.
Yes. The good thing is, if you have the passion of what are you doing, for sure you have the dedicated to do it, even the hard work that you want to give. 100% hard work for sure.
Yeah.
So, Miss Ashley, the last few years have taught us that agility is survival. What does building an adaptable organizations look like in a practice beyond just having a digital presence?
Can you say that question again? I don't think I understood it. Say it again, please.
Yes, the last few years have taught us that agility is a survival. What does building an adaptable organizations look like in practice beyond just having a digital presence?
Okay, so it looks like all different things. So your digital presence, yes, is important, right? But as to your point,
Yes.
it needs to be more than that. So, there's brick and mortar, there's a different type of presence where you're having meetings and webinars or workshops, or how are your professional services or your organization connecting with people in real time, right? And
Yes.
so that's really a question. And I can't really answer that specifically because every organization, every professional service is different. But I think the question is, what is the service that you're offering? And this is a big thing because when you're talking about nonprofits, Daniel, and you're talking about, let's say, professional services, even, okay? Entrepreneurism, all of it. People talk about impact all the time. What's your impact? What is your brand's impact? What is your organization's impact? By doing whatever you're doing, what's the impact? And I want to change that for a minute because impact is super important, but I think it's been used so much that people have forgotten what it actually represents. Okay. And
Yes.
especially in the world that I'm talking about, impact is equivalent to services. So if you can think like that, what kind of services are you offering? And then I would say the who, what, when, where, and how. How are you offering these services? When are you offering these services? What kinds of services are you offering? And how are people going to engage with your services? That is how you build your organization, your brand, your professional services beyond just digital presence. Digital presence is just a fraction of what's involved, but you have to answer all of those questions first in order to kind of set everything in motion. It's basic.
Basic indeed. And Miss Ashley, the modern fundraising model for nonprofits, what is the evolving faster the strategies for raising money or the expectation of the donor themselves?
I think what's really trending right now are three different things. One is just being really human and real, right? Putting your ask out there in the most human, realistic, authentic way possible, right? This is
Yes.
what my cause is. This is what we need. If we don't get this, this is what happens. It's not just we're going to close down our doors and whatever else. It's putting people in a place where they can understand and have a stake in what you're trying to do. So I'm going back to teen mental health just because we talked about it. Okay. If you say, well, by providing our services, we're going to help 1,000 teens a year with their mental health by doing this, and this through our services. If we don't get this funding, this is what's going to happen. We only now get to affect 100 instead of 1,000 kids. We live in a world where this is as many kids, let's say it's 1 out of 10, maybe even 5 out of 10, who are mentally struggling. We need your help. And this is why. You need to give them that education, right? So
Yes.
that is truly, truly important. The other trend I think in development right now is crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is still a big thing. It really it is, right? So you put it online in these big kind of crowdfunding ways. Substack has a huge, huge following. I highly recommend that, especially if you're in the arts. People want to follow. They want to feel aligned. They want to have they literally want to be a part of what you're doing. And if you can get them on board for that, you are much more likely to get money out of them. And then third, for bigger organizations, the big thing right now is the relationship that you have with your donors. And that doesn't mean just communicating with them, Daniel. That means touching them, talking to them, not touching in a bad way, touching in a good way. And taking them out for dinner, taking them for a coffee, just being in a place where you can communicate with them one-on-one, where they feel heard, they feel seen, they feel that they're part of this. So if they give you $100 and that's towards your teen mental health services, if you communicate monthly, even more so weekly, but monthly, to say, this is where your money is going, this is what is happening. It takes time and it takes work to do it. But let me tell you, that is all about retention, because if you do something like that, they are more likely to give you more money the next year. And when you host different like soirees, yes, galas are kind of out. Everyone's gala fatigued. No one wants to really go to galas anymore. What they want to do is go to experiences.
Yes.
So create the experience. And most of all, again, I'm just going teen mental health. If I wanted to create an experience, I'm going to really try to have either the parents or the kids who we are helping be part of that experience. Because when donors get to see it firsthand of, oh my God, this is a real human being in front of me, something happens in ourselves, Daniel. It's a human just interaction to go, there's empathy, there's compassion, there's attachment, there's emotion, and you want to play on that. So that's like the 3 key things for development right now that are hot.
Miss Ashley, let's talk about the human element and leadership resilience.
Okay.
The journey can be isolating. What is your best advice for leaders to build a personal support system that keeps them resilient and mentally strong?
Community.
Yes.
Community. If you're going to ask me how to build your community, I would say you're going to build a community out 2 different ways. One is I like to not be the smartest one in the room. I love when there are other people smarter than me. It makes my game even better. So I would say if you want to be sustainable and resilient, create a network of people that challenge you, that are there to care for you, that give you advice, but also don't sweet coat it in any way. Entrepreneurship is brutal. It is hard. And it is.
True.
I mean, it's thankless to a certain degree, as is like nonprofit work. It's one of those career choices that you make where you love being a leader. Usually you love leading other people. You believe in whatever you're believing in that you know is going to be hopefully successful. But you have to be willing, one, to get knocked down 1,000 times, if not more, and be able to get the hell up. That is entrepreneurship. Doors will be closed. People will hang up. People will ghost you. You'll feel like you are on your own island. And you need that community of support to say, not only rah, rah, get up, but to say, maybe you shouldn't have done it that way. Or you hit that person the wrong way. You needed to hit them in this way. And I say hit in the sense of engaging them, connecting with them. You need people who are real, but also that can validate the craziness that you sometimes can feel. So it's a combination of creating this amazing support system that is loving and caring and awesome and smart and capable and creative and all that kind of stuff. And then it's also about finding the smartest freaking people that also have other assets, have other benefits that will only complement you, right? So I usually tend to be with business leaders that are in so many different sectors. That makes me better. It allows me to be educated, allows me to be challenged. I'm curious, I'm not judging, and they feel the same way about me. But I try to kind of create it so that I'm not filled with just marketers. I'm not just filled with just entrepreneurs in one segment of business. I have entrepreneurs from doing all different things because that's what makes it interesting and exciting and also really difficult because we're all trying it together. And so you want to create that kind of special club, for terms right now that we can use, that challenge, support, love, hate, and give you what you need as an entrepreneur that sets you towards the path of sustainability and resilience. That's what I would recommend.
Very well said, Miss Ashley. Truly empowering answer. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my Abstract Essay is already in 5th season. Abstract Poetry in 2nd season. I'm a Book 101 review in 5th season too. Comedy 101 in 2nd season. I'm a Food 101 in 5th season as well. Geography 101 in 4th season. And my baby podcast, Law 101 and Mental Health 101. Love Letters in 3rd season. And Movie 101 review and Music 101 in 4th season. And Science 101 and Sex 101 in its 1st season. Please listen to them. wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Ashley, if someone is feeling overwhelmed and is stuck in survival mode, what is the one small actionable step they can take tomorrow to start building the momentum?
Take a step away. I know that sounds so odd, but when your grip is so hard on that bat, the best thing you can do as an entrepreneur is loosen it. Take a step back, get grounded, let it all fall away, and do not fixate on the problem at the moment. If you are an entrepreneur and have been an entrepreneur and you're like, oh my God, why am I not seeing this? Why is this not working? It's super easy to fall into the behavior of just fixation. I've got to figure it out. What is wrong? I have learned, take a step back, drop the bags, walk away. It will clear your mind. It will clear your spirit, your soul, and you can see things much more clearly when you come back to the table after. I call it like being in the red. As an entrepreneur, you cannot work in the red. That's the overwhelm. That's the anxiety. That's the constant like, oh my God, I can't make it through feeling. You got to be in the green, sometimes in the yellow. But the way to do that is to drop everything and distract yourself. Do something good for yourself. Go read a book, go watch a show, go for a walk, go hang out with friends. Go do something that is not fixating on your business. Return in 24 hours and see how, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't recognize that. I can't believe I didn't see that. Oh, it just your nervous system and your mind need a break. So when you hit overwhelm, my answer is to hit pause.
Have a break, have a Kit Kat, people. Miss Ashley Bundis, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Daniel, right now we are putting together a workshop actually to make AI accessible for entrepreneurs as well as professional services providers and nonprofits. So look out for that. That's going to be on LinkedIn shortly. And at any time, please check out aimhighstudios.com as well as glittersparklellc.com. And if you're in need of some amazing marketing services or a growth plan using AI for your business, check me out.
Yes, definitely Miss Ashley Bundis. Yes, people, let's support her for sure. More and more empowering business will arise. So, Miss Ashley, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Marty Khan, people, see you soon.